In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to create a stereo audio mixdown of your finished piece of music. Once you've created your piece of music in Cubase, you've mixed it, you've added your plugins, you've shaped your EQ, and you're very happy with the finished sonic product, you'll want to create a stereo audio mixdown that you can then transfer to CD or post on the internet. Here is a mix of the Cubase blues. You can see I've got all the tracks sorted out, I've got the levels set, the pans are set up appropriately, and all of the EQ and plugins are set up and used where necessary. The first thing to do in order to create a mixdown is to select everything. We can either do this by lassoing all of the audio events on the project window, or by pressing Ctrl and A. We can now set the left and right locators around this by pressing P on the keyboard. You can now see the left locator is set to bar 1, and the right locator is set to bar 69. I now need to make sure that none of the tracks are set to mute, unless I don't want them to feature in the final mix, and then I can go to the File menu, go to Export, and choose Audio Mixdown. This will open the Export Audio Mixdown settings window. In here I can set up the name of my mixdown. I'll call this Cubase Blues Mix 1. I can set the location on my computer of where to save this mix. I can either use the Project Audio folder, where your main CPR file is, or I can set up another location in a specific place. We then need to decide the file format of my final stereo mix. I'm going to work with a WAV file, but you can work with many other different sorts, particularly MP3s, which would be useful if you want to post your music on the internet. Then choose your audio engine output. This will be your stereo output bus from your audio interface. Set the sample rate, 44.1 kHz and 16-bit is standard CD quality. And finally, check that the Import into Project pool and audio track are ticked. This will make sure that your finished stereo file is imported onto a new track in the project. Once you've done that, click on Export. Cubase will now start to export and create a stereo audio WAV file of a mixdown of your music. Depending on how many tracks you've used and how long your piece of music is, this could take anything from a few seconds to several minutes. Whilst Cubase is exporting your stereo mixdown, you should be patient and not try and do anything else with the computer. When the mix is complete, the export audio box will close and you will see a new track and your stereo mix on the Cubase project window. And we can see here we've got our Cubase Blues Mix 1 track at the bottom of the project window. If we solo this now and play it from the beginning, we've got our finished stereo mix of the Cubase Blues, which is a stereo WAV file. Once I've saved this, I can go to my project folder, look in the audio folder, and I'll find the stereo mix. Here it's called Cubase Blues Mix 1. I can now use my favourite CD burning software to create a stereo audio CD of my music. Creating an audio mixdown is the final stage of the process of making music with Cubase. You can now make your own CD and share it with other people.